These are movie moments that were improvised. In Titanic, the iconic line from Leonardo DiCaprio's Jack Dawson was not actually in the original screenplay.
I'm the king of the world!
When DiCaprio got on the ship for the first time, he actually shouted the line, and director James Cameron loved it, so naturally it made it into the movie. In A Few Good Men, we have the iconic court scene that sees Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson's characters facing off. Originally, Nicholson's line was, "You already have the truth," but wanting to change up the line for one take, he came out with something that would go on to be iconic.
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
In Casablanca, Humphrey Bogart got to say one of Hollywood's most well-known lines of dialogue.
He's looking at you, kid.
The funny thing is, this was just said on a whim. Bogart had said the line to co-star Ingrid Bergman whilst teaching her to play poker between shooting scenes. And with the movie constantly changing during production, Bogart just threw the line in. The rest, as they say, is history. In The Empire Strikes Back, just before Han Solo was frozen in carbonate when Leia confessed her love for him, Han was originally supposed to say, "I love you too." But Harrison Ford thought this was out of character. And so he came up with something different on the day, and of course it became a classic line.
I love you.
I know.
In Shaun of the Dead, during the scene where Nick Frost's Ed is giving people in the pub fake backgrounds, the whole thing is improvised with the reactions from Simon Pegg being completely genuine.
She's an ex-porn star. She's done it all. They say she starred in the world's first interracial hardcore loop.
In Zoolander, when we're finally discovering the conspiracy around models along with Ben Stiller's Derek Zoolander, we see the title character asking why male models are at the center of the situation. And after a lengthy explanation from David Duchovny's character, we then see Zoolander ask again.
But why male models?
Still had actually forgotten his original line, and so he improvised on the spot, with Duchovny staying in character to reply.
You serious? I just told you that a moment ago.
In Forrest Gump, during the scene where Forrest first meets Bubba, Tom Hanks came up with the line used when Forrest is introducing himself.
My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump.
Director Robert Zemeckis found the line so funny that he, of course, kept it in the movie. In Goodfellas, do you remember this iconic scene from Joe Pesci's character, Tommy DeVito?
He's a big boy. He knows what he said. What'd you say?
You're right.
Funny how?
Well, Pesci actually once offended a mobster in his youth by telling him he was funny, and shared the tale with the production team during rehearsals. Director Martin Scorsese liked the story so much that he had Pesci and co-star Ray Liotta improvise a scene with that as the epicenter of it. In Black Panther, when M'Baku and the Jabari tribe begin to grunt as Everett Ross tries to speak, this was something that actor Winston Duke came up with during filming.
The new king is a U.S. The new king.
In Taxi Driver, we have the famous mirror scene, which was actually born from director Martin Scorsese locking him and lead actor Robert De Niro in a room, with Scorsese telling De Niro to say something in the mirror.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me?
In The Shining, Jack Nicholson threw in the iconic reference to Johnny Carson's talk show.
Here's Johnny!
At first, director Stanley Kubrick wasn't a huge fan of the script change as he didn't understand the reference, but thankfully he was talked around. In Midnight Cowboy, actor Dustin Hoffman was genuinely yelling at a car that almost cut him off mid-scene, and from that we got one of the most well-known lines in cinema.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
In Fight Club, we get the scene of Brad Pitt and Edward Norton's characters trying out fighting for the first time. And the scene sees Norton smack Pitt in the ear, with the response of,
Motherfucker! You hit me in the ear!
Pitt's line was a genuine reaction, as he didn't know Norton was going to hit him there. Fincher apparently told Norton to just hit him and connect with him somewhere. In Avengers Infinity War, what you may not know is that originally Tom Holland's Peter Parker was only scripted to say, "I'm sorry," as he dusted away. But the Russo brothers felt it wasn't emotional enough and so told Holland to run the scene again and say what he wanted to, which gave us this.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
In Good Will Hunting, whilst we watch one of Will's therapy sessions, Robin Williams actually improvised the full story about his character's wife farting in her sleep, which got not only him and co-star Matt Damon laughing, but also the camera operator, which is evident from the camera wobbling during the scene.
She woke herself up. Yes.
In When Harry Met Sally, director Rob Reiner was happy for stars Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal to improve here and there, which brought about the scene of Crystal's Harry having Ryan's Sally repeat things in a strange voice. You can even see a confused Ryan looking off to Reiner during the scene.
But I would be proud.
But I would be proud.
To partake.
To partake.
Of your pecan pie.
In Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, during the scene where Ron is telling his friends about being in love, director Adam McKay had told Steve Carell to say anything as Brick Tamland so he had more lines, which brought about a classic Brick moment from the movie, and Will Ferrell followed his lead.
I love carpet. I love desk.
Brick, are you just looking at things in the office and saying that you love them?
I love lamp.
In Ghostbusters, Bill Murray was allowed to improvise on most of his lines as Peter Venkman, and that included this line after Venkman had been slimed.
I feel so funky.
In Barbie, during the scene where Ken shouts his iconic line,
Sublime!
This was actually improvised by Ryan Gosling on the spot, and lead actress Margot Robbie was not prepared for it, which caused her to crack up. In Spider-Man No Way Home, there is a moment where Andrew Garfield's web-slinger shows some love for his alternate universe counterparts, which Garfield actually came up with out of nowhere while filming the scene.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
In Knives Out, the scene where Ransom insults the family originally had him saying "F you" to each member, but in order to maintain PG-13 rating, director Rian Johnson said they'd need to trim down on the F word. Thanks to actor Chris Evans, there was an alternative that he tried out that stayed in the movie.
Eat shit.
If I
Eat
wasn't
shit.
practicing,
Eat shit.
I would slap that smug smile.
Definitely eat shit.
In The Wolf of Wall Street, that iconic humming and beating of the chest from Matthew McConaughey's Mark Hanna was actually a small ritual that McConaughey tends to do before takes. When director Martin Scorsese noticed the actor doing it, he suggested he add it into the scene. You can even see a confused DiCaprio looking off camera to the production team at one point.
With a common denominator.
In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, when Harry and Ron use Polyjuice Potion to turn into Crabbe and Goyle, they are almost rumbled when Malfoy notices Goyle wearing glasses. Malfoy says,
I didn't know you could read.
and this was actually a young Tom Felton forgetting his line and thinking on his feet, with his improvised line making it into the final movie. In Ghost, the scene where Oda Mae is relaying to Molly everything that a deceased Sam is saying, there's a moment where she is meant to plainly tell Molly that she is in danger. But comedian Whoopi Goldberg decided to throw her own flavor into the scene, and instead said,
Molly, you in danger, girl.
In Dumb and Dumber, it's said that a small portion was improvised by Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels whilst filming. One notable moment is when one of the bad guys in the movie is getting a lift off Harry and Lloyd, with the latter saying,
Hey, wanna hear the most annoying sound in the world?
In Pretty Woman, in the scene where Richard Gere's character shows Julia Roberts' character the expensive necklace, the moment of him snapping the jewelry box shut and surprising Roberts was purely Gere having fun on the spot, and it clearly got a good reaction from the director. In The 40-Year-Old Virgin, the iconic waxing scene was made to be completely improvised, with Steve Carell being waxed for real during filming, and everyone's reactions being genuine, making for some quick lines that would go on to be classics.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
In Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, an exchange between Indy and his father saw Sir Sean Connery improvise on the spot, and the line actually ended up getting laughs from right across the set, earning it a place in the finished product.
How did you know she was a Nazi? She talks in her sleep.